I was watching a video the other day, and in the video, the person was talking about how if you spent $200 on Jordans, it's $200 today, but if you were to take that $200 and invest it in the stock market and get what I think was an 8% return, I think I don't remember how many years it was, I don't remember the exact math of it, but eventually it would be $8,000 or something. We're essentially doing that all the time. We are taking something now, and whether we know it or not, it takes away from the future. We just don't often understand how much it's taking away from our future.
I used to say that in early speeches I gave 10 years ago when I was Alan Lazarus LLC before Kevin and I got together, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know, bringing personal development to the masses. I used to say, if you spend each day investing your time and effort into making sure tomorrow is better than today, eventually your entire life will be awesome. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2028, your future self may hate you if you don't understand opportunity cost. I know that's kind of that's a rough title, I know, but I have definitely had a little negativity towards myself for not understanding opportunity cost in the past. There were some things that and I'll let Alan explain opportunity cost and define it and all that, but there are some things in the past that I definitely shouldn't have done, and I didn't understand how much it took away from my future. We've all heard YOLO, you only live once, and again, you can say that after a heavy night of drinking and it's fun, but I think by the opposite front, you only live once, so you should probably do your best to make sure that you're living the best, most aligned, most abundant, long-term life that you possibly can. What is the definition of opportunity cost?
Opportunity cost is this idea that you not doing something today is actually taking away from your future. What is the opportunity cost of not reading a personal development book daily? Not a book every day, but 30 minutes of reading or 10 minutes of reading or 20 minutes of reading, whatever it is. What is the opportunity cost of drinking alcohol excessively? What is the opportunity cost of not being grateful for your intimate partner? What is the opportunity cost of not exercising? What is the opportunity cost of not investing? Future self, past self, current self. Which one do you prioritize? I think we all... This is one of the reasons why in the early personal development days 10 years ago, I would read certain books. One of them, Your Erroneous Zones by Wayne Dyer, that I recommended to Kev. We talked about it in the last episode. One of the things that always bothered me about Wayne is he was always so focused on the present. Be in the present. Stay in the present. The present moment is all you have. The now is what matters. No, it isn't. The now builds towards your future. Right now, everyone watching or listening, your future is getting brighter for listening to this podcast. Because what you allow into your brain is determining what you think. It's what's influencing you. What are you laughing at, my lighting?
Your lighting got brighter as you were talking about getting brighter.
I did that purposely with my mind. But the truth of the matter is if you were to binge drink for 3 weeks and not listen to any personal development and do drugs and not get good sleep and be hungover and not treat your partner well and not exercise and not take care of yourself, that would be an opportunity cost. You would lose a ton of future greatness. You would lose a ton of future potential. That's what opportunity costs. It's about the potential of the future. Potential is one of my top 3 core values. Legacy, potential, and rationality. And potential is, this is my definition of it, a deep belief in what is truly possible and what human beings are truly capable of. At your wedding when I cried, that was what I was crying about. It was, you could have been nothing. You came from very humble beginnings and you made something of yourself. That's the most inspiring thing in the world. So to me, I'm always looking at potential. That's the future potential. The future can get brighter if we put in the effort now and if we invest now. That's what education is. You invest in your college education for a bigger, better, brighter future. And the people who don't invest tend to, statistically speaking, have not as big of a future. And I was talking to the team about how I'm going to get my PhD. And Emilia and I she's going to get sidey, I think. But I was talking about how it was a dream to one day go to MIT, and my guidance counselor said I wouldn't get in, which I think is, so I didn't even apply, and I regretted it ever since. So I'm probably going to end up doing that. And I said, that'll be in my 40s. It's not for a long time. But I'm always thinking about the future. Always. 24/7, 365. Future, 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 future. Everything you're saying, thinking, doing, feeling, and believing right now is building your future. And that's what this podcast is. How do you reach your potential? How do you build your future? How do you make sure your future is bright? You have a very bright future. I think the present moment is way better when you know your future's bright.
Do you think that one of the reasons you don't... Okay. What's the order of this? You never really cared about lifestyle, so it made sense to think about the future, or you understood how important the future was, so you knew lifestyle was going to be a hit. You're going to take a hit on lifestyle. Or I think it's third one, your lifestyle is exactly what you want, because I don't want to assume that it's not.
All three simultaneously. No. But to give you a real answer, it's a staircase. I actually feel bad. Okay, so when I was 14, stepdad left. We went from, everyone thought I was the rich kid. We lived on a lake, and my mom and stepdad didn't get along, so from the outside in, we looked like we had the dream. And we had snowmobiles, and we had a Ducati motorcycle, and we had a yacht. We had boats and ski trips. I had a Dreamcast and an Xbox and early Christmas presents, and we had a really beautiful home. We had 5 acres of land on a private pond/lake. So from the outside in, it looked magnificent. When he left, he took all the income with him. He worked for a company called AGFA. They did hospital computers during the dot-com bubble in Massachusetts. So it was just, we did well. And everyone did well back then. Not everyone, but most people. Economically, the 90s were wild. You can research this, okay, especially in the U.S. But to answer your question, Kev, I lost everything when he left. And I went from that was very humbling for me. That was very traumatic because I obviously lost him and his entire extended family. So everything I knew up to that point was kind of ripped out from under me in a way. And there's more to that too, because my mom got in a fight with my Aunt Sandy and we got kind of ostracized from her side of the family. So by the time I was 14, I kind of lost 3 families in a way because we didn't talk to my birth father's side anymore. My real last name's McCorkle for the listeners who don't know. John McCorkle, my birth father, died when I was 2. And I took the name Lazarus. Steve Lazarus was my stepdad around age 7, I think. But we didn't really associate with the McCorkles much. So when you lose sort of 3 families by the time you're 14, we went from boats and ski trips to I get free lunch at school now because I'm the poor kid. We trade in the BMW for a little Honda Civic 2005. How do we keep the house in the family? I look into the future and I go, we are fucked. No generational wealth, no dad, no trust fund. We're going to lose the house. We are fucked. How am I going to go to college? So I had straight A's through all of high school, scholarships and financial aid, WPI, master's in business, off to the races, 1% earner by the time I'm in my early 20s. $150,000 in a Vanguard account, $84,000 worth of college debt paid off in a single year. I'm proud of all that because I came from absolutely nothing. But to answer your question, the lifestyle piece, I think it's a staircase that's supposed to trend up. A lot of people, it doesn't trend up. This is one of the big things that I really want to make land. Let me try to explain this. There was someone who I dated when I was in high school, and she had a very wealthy, her dad inherited millions. And she had stuff. It was the 90s, a lot of people had money, especially them, and she grew up with a lot. She grew up with a lot of things. Stuff, Range Rover, just really nice home, lake, multiple homes, that kind of thing, abundance. And I'm not making that wrong. What I am saying, though, is I actually, for someone who did grow up that way, if that doesn't continue trending up, where do you go from there, dude?
That's fair.
There's something to be said for that. Like you, Kev, you came from such humble beginnings that it's always up from here. Your 36 is better than 26. 26 is better than 16. 16 is better than 6. So I am trying to play the game of life from a frame of upward and onward. And I know what it's like to go from a very high place to a very low place in a very short amount of time. And that can be very traumatic. And so for me, opportunity cost is go into your future. and ask yourself how fucked you're going to be if you don't change.
I've had this conversation with Taryn many times because she'll see friends and family traveling, and she's like, I want to travel more. And I completely understand. And we went to Scotland, and we've done a little bit of traveling. But I said that you gotta trust me on the fact that in 10 years, we'll be able to go to much nicer places if we hold off.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the opposite of gambling. When you're gambling, so I used to like to play blackjack on DraftKings. And I was like, this is a dangerous...
Not on DraftKings.
This is a dangerous game.
Yeah.
I should not be able to play blackjack from my couch in my pajamas. Like, this is a recipe for disaster.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Real quick, huge
Yes.
blackjack fan. So
Yes.
I'm with you on that. I used to play a lot of blackjack too.
Yes. Well, okay, think of it this way. You make a bet. I'm going to bet $1. All right, I'm going to bet $1. And you win 75 cents. You keep doing that. The reason you're doing that is because you have some level of belief or delusion that if you keep doing that, the money is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Or you just like the feeling of playing.
Yes.
And you get addicted to it.
Yes,
and
but
that's a
I'm
dangerous
not I'm not going to put that dark voodoo on here. I'm going to say you're in full control. If you're not, there's many places to seek help, and again, it is a dangerous game right now because you can literally do it from your cell phone. So nothing but empathy for that. But it's the opposite when it comes to opportunity cost. It's like, okay, you can spend $1,000 and go to Disney World today, hypothetically. But what if I told you if you save that $1,000, you'd be able to go to Disney World for a month in 10 years instead of the 4 days that you're going to be able to do it today? Would that, again, this is very similar to the delay and gratification episode, but that's my thought process. I was talking in a clip about the fact that I wanted to go to UFC, but I knew I shouldn't. I want to go to a UFC event, but it's not time. I shouldn't.
Well, let's do both sides of the coin. Yeah. Some people are sitting there thinking, well, you got to live some point. You got to live at some point.
Well, there is a more optimal time for me to live than now.
Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. This is the thing that I want to try to break down, and this is a really important conversation, and I know we've only got a little bit of time here. I remember I had a friend, he said, well, if I don't eat the rest of these Oreos, if I were to die tomorrow, I'll regret it, so I'm going to eat the whole sleeve. And it was more of a joke. Yeah, it's funny. But I think to myself, and I didn't share this, but I thought to myself, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And the reason why my brain says that is because you're not going to die tomorrow, statistically. You could. If you lived every day like you're going to die tomorrow, you and I wouldn't even record this episode. It's not rational. I just want to be honest here. Irrationality is dangerous. It's not rational. The average life expectancy is 80. If you're not planning to live till 80, people say, well, what if I die tomorrow? Hey, what if you don't, brother? What if you don't? Is your family going to be upset when you gamble your fucking life savings away? You know what I mean? So I remember one time I was at a barbecue and bonfire, and I said, why are you smoking cigarettes, brother? Like, I'm actually asking. It doesn't make any sense why you smoke so much. He said, well, I'm going to die of something anyway. I might as well smoke. And I remember thinking, is that actually your logic? That's like saying, well, I might as well run in front of oncoming traffic. Like, I'm not trying to be unkind. Smoking cigarettes is unintelligent. Everyone knows that. If you're going to choose to do that, I've smoked in the past when I drank occasionally. I've had a cigarette before.
A couple darts?
Oh, yeah, man, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. Not regularly. I've never bought a pack or anything, but I've made some poor-ass choices.
A couple of cloves back in the day. I didn't know. I thought they were cigars. I didn't know what the hell they were.
Here's the difference, though, and I just need to share this. I made so many poor choices, Kev. So many. But I never told myself a story they weren't poor choices. When I was drinking, I never was like, oh, this is good for me. I was like, this is probably a terrible idea. I'm going to do it anyway. But this is not an intelligent choice. I never deluded myself into thinking this was smart. And so when someone says, well, I'm going to die anyway, I might as well smoke, that means you don't value your life. And so to bring this full circle, The average life expectancy for women is 79 globally. It's 76 or 77 for men. You can look this up. So the average means you have to plan for that. You have to plan for that. How many people do you know, Kev, that didn't plan for retirement and they're working into their 60s and 70s and 80s?
So many.
Okay, so if you don't plan for the future, you're going to pay the fucking piper. And opportunity cost is something I get so riled up about because I feel like I'm trying to help people live a better life. And again, I do come from a past with some people that I love dearly that never made good choices. And it hurt me a lot to watch them suffer. My uncle, when my father passed away, my Uncle Joe, he drank excessively and he just died 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And it's just hard to watch someone, their poor choices literally slowly kill themselves, right? And I know everyone out there watching or listening, I know that you've been affected by watching a loved one who didn't care about their future. I mean, that's just sad. That makes me sad. And there are people that I love dearly that are not going to be here long because of their own poor choices, and that's unfortunate. But I want to share this with everybody real quick too. I had a client reach out to me and share a journal entry anonymously. She said, I wanted to share this journal entry with you. I'm paying down debt like a savage. I paid off $500 of the money I owe blank for the MacBook. I've paid off $1,300 to the Chase credit card and a lot of money towards the Capital One credit card. I'm in such an abundant place and it's only getting better. I plan on paying off the Chase credit card or at least paying it down to $500 within the next 2 months. And then every extra dollar I have is going to go toward paying off the Capital One credit card, which I can probably pay off by the end of the year. I'm so proud of myself and the woman I'm becoming. April 3rd. Nice. Awesome. And this is what I said to her. I said, first of all, let's fucking go. With an exclamation point. And I said, learn to need nothing and you put yourself in a position to have everything. I hope that's landing differently these days. Someone who needs very little to be whole has a huge cheat code and can actually put themselves in a position to succeed long term. Versus someone entitled or spoiled who needs a lot just to exist in a reasonable place self-esteem wise, it virtually guarantees they set themselves up for short-term gain and long-term pain. When you learn to need less, which I had to do when my stepdad left, you set yourself up for the long game. When you don't need much to be fulfilled, now you can play the long game and make sure you make smart choices. And you can delay gratification for bigger rewards. What people don't fully understand mathematically is that the exponential increase in the future, it's exponential. So if you give up and sacrifice in the moment now for a bigger future, it's not 1 times 1. It's 1 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And that's how you build generational wealth. And that's how you build a bigger, better, brighter future that compounds. Like you and I have achieved more success in the last 2 years than the previous 6 before that. But if we stopped during those first couple years that absolutely were terrible and it was only delayed gratification, we would never be experiencing this abundance now. And so I hope everyone is, at least to some degree, igniting that in their own life.
Well, I think the question, the lesson that I would leave everyone with is what is the current ratio or what is the current equation? Is it 8 out of 10 now, 2 out of 10 for the future? What is it? And again, I don't know what the goal is for you because I think everybody is different when it comes to fulfillment. I don't want to be 10 future 0 now. I definitely don't.
Yeah. I'm not either, by the way.
I know.
I'm not.
I know.
I think I'm mine is 95-5. 5% now, 95% future. But I think that's excessive.
Pretty close to 10.
I think that's
pretty close to 10-0.
Yeah, 9.5.5.
Right? I'm not that, but I'm way better about that than I've ever been. It's probably, if you're 95.5, I'm probably 70-30.
Nice.
70 future, 30 now.
Used to be 100-0.
It was 95.5 the other way for sure. But it's not about getting to 100-0. I think it's about getting to what works best for you, what is sustainable for you, what gives you the goals you want, what gives you, I won't even say what gives you the lifestyle you want, because sometimes you take a hit in lifestyle. Yeah, oftentimes you take a hit in lifestyle now for a hit in lifestyle eventually. But you also have to make sure you're doing the right things. Because if you're not doing the right things, then it's not going to compound that way. So that would be my next level lesson, is just move the needle in the right direction a little bit. Next time somebody invites you to go do something that's like, whatever, $50, whatever an amount of money that you're like, I really need to think about this. Maybe you say no and your future self will thank you, but you have to believe it'll be worth it. Again, I always go back to that.
Kev, real quick, I know we got to jump. The Next Level Live is $47, right?
Yes.
And it's 6 hours of someone's time, assuming they attend the whole event, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
It's today. If you're listening, it's literally today.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, holy crap. Well, then I hope everyone's gotten their tickets by now. I just wanted to use this as a point. I didn't realize. So it's today, meaning they cannot buy a ticket. Yeah, so it's over. Okay.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Okay, well, let me use this as a point.
Please.
Anyone who did attend Next Level Live, shout out to you. We had a couple more come through, by the way, in the last couple days. But it's $47 is the investment, and it's 6 hours of your time. But what if you really were going to make $5,000 more over the next decade, and then $10,000 the decade after that, and then $50,000 the decade after that? As a matter of fact, for some people that come to that event, it might be millions more. I know that sounds grandiose, but it actually could be more. I know one person at that event that I'm certain will be a multimillionaire. And she's going to learn a lot that's going to compound, and she's going to earn more. So $47 for this event versus $47 on, I don't know, the Cheesecake Factory or whatever.
Ooh,
I love cheesecake. I love food. I'm not saying not to spend money on food. My point is, what is the opportunity cost of not coming to Next Level Live? What is the opportunity cost of not buying that book? I told Kev, buy the book. Whatever it is, you want a book, buy it. Don't waste time thinking about it. Just it's a great investment. There's never going to be a personal development book that isn't worth $12, assuming you actually implement it.
I would say that's fundamentally incorrect, sir.
That's
found
fair.
some of them.
That's a fair assessment, assuming you got a good recommendation with a good author from a good person. But the point is, buy the book, and Audible lets you return them if you buy the wrong book.
That is true. All right, we got to go. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.